Hey, it's Caleb here, and in this video I want to help you understand your body scan results and hopefully give you some really good pointers so that you can improve them for your next follow-up scan. So let's get into it. First things first is we're going to focus on this middle section here called your muscle to fat analysis. Basically, this is what your body composition is made of. Now, it's got your weight, it's got your muscle mass, and it's got your body fat in kilos, okay? Now, I know a lot of people fuss over weight, but I want to know, what is your weight actually made of? How much muscle are you carrying? How much body fat do you carry, all right? Those are more important numbers that I like to focus on, which is what I'm trying to encourage you to focus on, okay? So as you can see, Fred here has 98.5 kilos of body weight, but it consists of 38.8 kilos of muscle and 31 kilos of body fat. So he's got some work to do, and I'm going to show you why. Baseline minimum recommendation muscle mass for men is 35 kilos. So you can see Fred exceeds that. For females, it's 25 kilos. So have a look at your scan. What is your muscle mass telling you? I personally like to push my numbers a little bit higher. I found this works a lot better. And I like to see men at 40 kilos and females at about 28 to 30 kilos. All right. If you exceed those numbers, even better. More muscle, the better. Okay. But we don't want to be below those numbers. So have a look at your scan. What is your muscle mass figures telling you? Are you below that baseline or are you above the baseline? Okay. That'll give you a good foundation of where your muscle mass is at. However, I'd probably say the most important issue here would be your body fat, because most people that get these scans done, it's not really the muscle tissue, it's the body fat, okay? So if we look at our body fat, Fred here's got 31 kilos, which is a lot of body fat. I don't care if that's a male, female, how old he is, how tall he is, how short he is. 31 kilos of body fat is a lot for anybody. Now, like the muscle mass recommendations, what is the recommendation for body fat mass? Well, if we go to the right-hand corner here, you'll see there's a little number called your fat control. This is the recommended fat that the machine has recommended you to lose. Hope that makes sense. Now, with any scan, you want this number to say 0.0. You never want the machine saying you've got excessive amounts of fat to lose, all right? We need fat, it's important, but we don't need excessive amounts of fat. I hope that makes sense. As a male, if a male carries way too much body fat than he needs to, testosterone starts to come down and he starts to produce more estrogen, right? Which is a female hormone, which is where the man boobs come from, all these sorts of things. So we never want to have excess body fat, all right? Because it's not good for us, okay? So have a look at what yours is saying. And in some cases, you might even have a recommended muscle control. So for people that don't have enough muscle, it'll actually say plus and then a figure after that. So I might say plus 1.2, which is recommending you to add 1.2 kilos of muscle. So it's going to be different for everybody. But have a look at what your data is telling you. As you can see, Fred's got more than enough muscle than he needs. I personally would like to push him up to about 40, but that's why his muscle control is saying 0.0. If you go to the top here, you'll also see target weight. That's roughly where your body weight should be sitting. Again, it's personal preference, but the machine is pretty good at figuring out where your healthy weight should be. Okay, now if we go to the bottom here, we've got PBF, which is your body fat percentage, which is very different to your body fat mass in kilos. Your percentage of body fat for females, we don't like to see above 28%. So if you're above that, we need to bring that down. How do we do that? We bring this number here down, okay? We focus on the numbers that we can control. If it's a male, you want to make sure you're bringing it under 20%. So have a look at your numbers. What are your numbers telling you? Are you on track? Are you off track? If your body fat is high, right, which I'm expecting it to be, especially for anyone starting a challenge or a program, the number one thing you're going to focus on is your nutrition. Nothing will move your body fat faster than your nutrition. You need to be in what we call a calorie deficit. And if you do want to figure out what sort of calories you need to be on, it's actually got a pretty good recommendation down here. So if we come down the bottom here, I would say Fred's recommended calories should be about 1,800 to 2,000 calories. Again, that depends on what his activity is. If he has a really active job, then I probably would give him a little bit more calories. But if he's sitting in an office all day, I would say that would be the sweet spot. He would stick to 1,828 calories. So again, you can get your coach or whatever formula you like to use, but if you have no idea, that's a pretty good place to start at. Okay, I really hope this makes sense so far, but those are the main figures that we want to look at. Obviously, I've circled visceral fat as well, which is the bad fat that sits around the organs. We never want too much of that, and we want to make sure we're under 10. But how do you control that number? Simply by controlling this number here, okay, which is body fat mass in kilos. So if I was to keep this short and sweet, to make sure we maintain muscle or grow muscle, focus on your strength training. To lose body fat, make sure you stay in a calorie deficit.